Hi, everyone. Good evening and happy Saturday. Happy weekend. I hope you guys are enjoying the weekend with your family. Maybe you are getting some downtime. I know I did today, which felt really, really good. So when I thought about what I wanted to go live about today, it was definitely something that has been on my mind for a little while now. And I've actually shared a little bit throughout my, I guess we can call it sharing process throughout the years, me giving you guys a little bit of information on, who I am as a person and what I'm going through. And I try to be as open as I can, but also I've learned throughout the years that I've also, in being open, sometimes then I learn to protect myself and hold on to things. But I have found that in sharing, that in offering our story, that we find out that we're not alone. And we find out that we can help inspire others through our story, but also we can receive the wonderful information that other people have received as well, or maybe they've gone through it and they can offer a bit of hope, right? So my sharing today definitely comes from a place of love. It comes from a place of, the struggle, and I'm ready to start talking about it more. So you are going to see more lives of me jumping on here and giving you guys a recap of where we're at and what's happening, because I want to share in the excitement of it, and I also want to share in the struggles of it. But I need you to know that through it all, I'm in a really good space, mentally, emotionally, physically, all that stuff. I'm in a really good space to be receiving of it. So I wrote a post the other day that I can promise you this, 100% promise you this, that whatever information you give me, I will not, I used to take the information and hold on to it and not really I wouldn't know what to do with it, mainly because I didn't have insurance or financially couldn't afford it, or I was just not feeling like in the right headspace to receive it. So it would be hard when I shared to then get the information, because I wasn't then doing much with it. I did with some, but not as much. So everything anyone has inboxed me with, commented with, I take that information and I put it in a note section on my phone. And then when I'm out, I either get the product that you guys suggested, or I'm looking into the podcast or looking into an article or a book. So please know that anything that you share. So I want to know in the comments, do you suffer from PCOS? I want to show anyone who's going to see this just how many people you'd be surprised that actually struggle with it. Or I want to know, do you possibly think that you have PCOS? If you don't know what that is, it's polycystic ovarian syndrome. It's a syndrome that causes cysts to grow on the ovaries, causing an imbalance in hormones, and also causing, if I were to list everything that it causes, I feel like if I had my computer right here, I would just bring it up. But just to name a few: fatigue, anxiety, depression, hair loss, hair growth in places you don't want, pain, imbalance of hormones, not getting your period regularly, infertility, belly weight gain. It's a specific gain that happens, and it's right in your belly, which can oftentimes make you look like you're pregnant. Let's see. Hi, Lauren. So there's, that was just a list that I could rattle off really quickly, but there are a ton more things that go on when you have PCOS. And for me, this extreme exhaustion, the extreme pain, the infrequent periods, and then not only that, but just trying to have a family, right? Because you imagine years and years of you trying to, figure out what's going on with your body. And I was actually diagnosed at 16. And at 16, when you're told that you can't have children, that is not on your brain, right? It's not there. And even my mom had PCOS, and she had the three of us, and I always had heard stories of people having it. And so having PCOS and not having kids. So knowing that, it was kind of like, well, eventually it'll work itself out, or eventually, it's going to be fine. And so I was prescribed at 16 birth control. And I feel like right then and there was really difficult on my hormones. You got to think, at 16, you have a lot going on. Your hormones are going up and down. And so to get that to regulate the period, to make sure that I, was getting my period properly, that was really, really important. So oh my gosh, something just fell in my, fell in my, kitchen. But so anyway, my point in mentioning all that is because I've really struggled with this more than half my life. And it's something that I've had really good moments of getting it under control, and then some really bad moments of, yes, I know what I need to do, but it's sometimes hard to get yourself out of it, right? Like when you're kind of down in the thick of it, and you're like trying to grip, and like it's like you're trying to grip onto the mud wall, but it keeps like crumbling. And that's just something that happens because of like how you're emotionally going through stuff, how you're dealing with everything, like hormonally too. So I through my research about 5 years ago, I was doing some heavy research on it. And I figured, okay, at that point, my gynecologist had said, all right, Angel, we need to get you working on this right away. If you want to have kids right now, if you want 4 or 5 kids, we need you. Like, how old are you? Okay. I think I was like 29 at the time. She's like, we need to get you going like right now. And it was exciting, but I actually put like, I put like a major brakes on. I was like, hold up, right? And it wasn't to her, it was like for me, because there was stuff that I was going through like emotionally and physically that I thought, gosh, like, I don't know if I necessarily want to bring this in to the mix with having children. Like, I don't know if I want to be like at this, where I'm at right now mentally, and adding children into it. Like, I need to get better. And I didn't go down a route of, getting prescribed something to help me with that. But I just went on to a more like holistic approach to it, that if I could take care of my mind and body and kind of connect that a little bit more. And for some that might sound a little crazy, but for me it was like just managing stress. And I didn't consider myself to be a very stressful person, but with somebody with PCOS, when your stress is heightened, it causes that hormonal imbalance even more, throwing everything off. Like, it's already working against you. So when you add stress to it, the weight just keeps coming on. It keeps coming right to the stomach. You keep having all the issues right there. And it causes so much of an imbalance in your life. It's truly insane. And you guys don't even realize that how many people are affected. 1 in 10 women are affected by this. So think about 10 women in your life. At least one of them has it. And then some of them are not, most people are not diagnosed with it. So they don't even know they're going through this. They just think there's something wrong with them. They just think that they're over emotional, or over like they're up and down all the time. And you could be lacking some supplements. So I want to know in the comments, I've been asking people jumping on, do you think you might have it, or do you have it? And I want to know, because I want to kind of show anyone who's going to watch this over time that it is more common than we think. And there is no cure to PCOS. They have not found a cure. They found things that help it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that in kind of my journey. So I'm going to skip back a little bit to why I put that stop on, right? So I decided to I found that when I was working out, I thought working out meant going hard, like running on that treadmill, doing all the work, like beast mode, right? And I was a beast. I grew up working out all the time. Like, there's never been a time, Bernie will always say this, there's never been a time in your life where like you don't know what it means to like work out. Like, I've always worked out. I've never been lazy. So someone might see me, I know, Lauren, you have said that. And it's so hard, because it's like, you don't know. And this is the thing. This is a common misconception with PCOS. People think that people with PCOS are overweight, that they are the ones that are struggling with their bodies, like overweight and carrying it in their stomach. They don't realize, like, I have several friends who are not overweight. You would look at them and you wouldn't even think PCOS. Like what a natural, like, I don't say natural, but typically what a PCOS person looks like. I mean, I have tiny legs. Anyone who sees me, like, I am not, but it is all in my front belly. And I'm going to tell you guys, I've had throughout the years people be not so nice. Like, I don't understand why people think it's okay to do this, especially with somebody who's trying to get pregnant. I actually have had on multiple occasions someone ask me if I was pregnant, and that like upset me so bad. I remember at the time just being like, how could right now even just getting like a little upset, because and that's the thing, is they don't realize. And it was a guy, one of them was a guy, and the wife would just like smacked him, like, don't say it, and I was just like, I was in complete shock. But that's just what I'm telling you, is that it doesn't, it just affects that area. It's not that I'm lazy. It's not that I don't work out or that I try to manage that. And so, back when I was trying to figure this all out, I found yoga, and I did yoga at my 20s, and I actually wasn't, overweight in my 20s. It wasn't until probably maybe like after Bert and I got married, it really started to pack on. But I was gaining, I was someone with PCOS who was incredibly tiny, like anorexic. And I had to get myself out of that. I was my height, which is 5'7", and just under 100 pounds. And so when I had met Bernie, I actually had just gained about 25 pounds, 20 to 25 pounds. So I was at like 125, and which is still so freaking tiny for someone of 5'7". So then slowly but surely, like the weight got, started to get back on. And when I hit about like 150, I would say that was probably pretty decent. I was still a pretty tiny size. And that really didn't matter. That whole time I had never felt like healthy. Even when I was working out, like I always felt I was like deficient in something, like there was always something missing from my life. And so then fast forward a little bit, right? Here we are in my 30s trying to figure this out. And what I found is that through yoga, that would be a really great way to minimize stress, first of all. And it was hot yoga, and the hot yoga would really help take some of the weight off. And it did. Over a 2-year period, I lost 40 pounds, which was amazing. It was so good for my body. Sometimes I wonder how I get back 2017 Angel. And then I realized that I still have that strength and that will and that courage. I just have to like get back on. And that has always been my battle, my journey. I don't know if you can relate to that, but it really has. So fast forward to a tough year, then fast forward to the pandemic hitting. And so here we are. So I see 2017, 2018, and then 2019 was a tough year, then the pandemic, and now here we are, right? So I've been just trying to do baby steps, right? Because if you think about your goal, so if I want to lose 40, 50 pounds, I think about a goal and I'm like, oh my gosh, I know it took me 2 years to do that last time. That is so overwhelming. And you just won't do it, right? You just won't show up. And so I really have to think about day by day, step by step, what is going to get me. There's a lot that's happened, Lauren. And I giggle about it. We giggle about it, but when there's just a lot of stuff going down, a lot is being thrown at you, right? And you kind of have to just choose your battles, choose your things. And, some of that stuff took a bit of a back burner, and I had committed to that this year, that I know I've been praying, and God has really shown me that this year was going to be a huge year in my life. But I had to take an action step. I had to take an action plan. And it might not always hit the mark every single day, but I'm going to try at least once. Yeah, exactly, Lauren. I'm going to try at least once. I'm going to do that. And so that's what I've been doing. And I got to tell you, I keep skipping back like to now and before, but with that plan that I had, right? The plan that was set in place, my body. So when I was starting to go to yoga and doing all that, and I'm telling you, this is for my ladies out there, but even guys, like I don't think even, I know I'm talking about a lot of personal stuff here. So, but I had my period back after I had done yoga. I got it 9 months in a row, which was so huge for my body. Like I've never had that without being put on birth control. So it just shows you that it works, right? It showed me that worked, and that I have to find that space again. I have to figure out how to get there again, right? And it's not even about figuring out. I have to pull myself out. I have to not take the muddy wall route and go like the actual route, right? And that's really difficult to do in times when you're struggling. So I've been pulling myself out and taking some different routes that I know that's going to cause more of a long-term effect for myself. So With that being said, I had done some more research and I had found this thing called Ovasitol. And I was a little weary, right? Especially when you're looking into supplements. I was weary because there's a lot of stuff out there and you don't know what to trust. But I read testimonial after testimonial of women who have tried this, getting their periods back, having children after only a few months on it, or getting pregnant, I should say. And then also just people like their overall feeling like their energy is back. And I'd been telling you guys for a little while, I'm really thinking I'm deficient in something. I think even someone else said that to me. Maybe you're deficient in something. And I was like, I think I am. So I started on a vitamin routine, just for right now. I also have a friend who sells, some vitamin stuff that I know I have to get back on and doing and kind of fix it a little bit. But I also went to a doctor back in August, and he put me on metformin. And if you guys know anything about metformin, it's actually for people with diabetes. I do not have diabetes, but I can tell you, and this is something that has been really difficult to even talk about, even for myself, because it's just like, I just looked over at my mom too, and that's exactly, I have a picture of her. That's exactly like where my brain goes, is the difficulties that my mom had with kidney failure and diabetes. And so I remember when she had been told that she was pre-diabetic, and I think she was like pre-diabetic for about 10 years. And then when that hit her, it was a really slow decline. Then like 10 years later, then she passed away. And so, and then my grandmother passed away at 37. So I'm 35. And so they had kidney failure. They really did have some awful things. And luckily, I get my kidneys tested. I don't have anything wrong with them. And so I'm so grateful for that. But it does make you think about like how you take care of your body, right? Like, what are you doing? And I haven't even had kids yet. So I'm like, man, I just want to be like the healthiest mom. Like, I just want to be there for them. I want to live for them. And I saw how much like my mom personally struggled, even though she didn't like always say how sick she was. Like, looking back now, I'm like, wow, she was just so sick my entire life. Like, my entire life, I had a mom who just tried to like she just was trucking right along. And I'm like, I don't have to go down that route if I know I can take care of those steps today, right? So that is like what drives me every day to like really do well, is to be there for my future children, specifically my first son, which I know his name, I can see his face, I know, I see all of that, and I just want to be there for him, for Bernie, for our future, right? So this is what gets me going every day. And so I've actually been on this. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to talk a little bit about it. And especially if you're struggling at all, this might be something you want to talk with your doctor about, or even just give it a go. I'm not making any claims or anything yet because I'm only 8 days in. But what I can tell you, and I was actually just telling, if Lauren is still on, I was just saying this, that I'm telling you, when I each time I have this, I have it twice a day, I swear, like, I feel things like moving around where it's like, oh, okay, like my hormonal level is getting more balanced. I actually, I was talking to Lauren about this yesterday, that I normally am a very emotional person, but when I'm struggling with my PCOS, it's like I want to cry and I want to be emotional, but it's more like, because you have higher levels of testosterone with PCOS, with that higher level, it kind of makes me sometimes a little bit hardened, even though I'm not. Like, it makes me look a little more closed off, and I'm not. I'm a very open person who loves to cry, and I'll sit there and cry with you, and it'll be the best, and it'll be therapeutic and all those things. So I've been like, since I've got on this, I've had like a better, emotional, like, I've had some cries, and even talking, just like getting really teared up very easily. And I know that might sound silly, but for me, that's just literally how I release. And like, so to have that, I'm like, yay. So I want to talk a little bit about this. This actually helps promote insulin sensitivity, which is what I have. So right now, being on metformin, I'm not really enjoying the effects, if you are on it or have ever experienced it. The things that happen to you are not fun. And so, like most medicines, like the goal is to like not be on it. And so you can actually take this with metformin, or they do recommend talking to your doctor about your levels and stuff, where you'd be able to come off metformin and then maybe just switching to this. But it's so hard, right? Because like, I mean, this is non-pharmaceutical. My metformin is pharmaceutical, the insurance. I mean, I don't even want to get into all that, but it makes you wonder, right? It really makes you wonder about what you're putting into your body for the production of, like, for money, right? Because this right here, this is actually a 90-day supply, so I take it twice a day. One scoop. It's a small scoop, and actually it's usually, they say it's like, a lot of people complained about where the scoop was. This is how much research I've done on it. It was buried at the bottom, but it's just a really nice small scoop, and you just, it's like a powder form, and you level it out and you toss that in your drink. It doesn't taste like anything. So I actually put it in with my collagen. I've been taking collagen too, guys. I don't know if you do that, but I swear collagen is like a beauty elixir. Like, it is the youth. You're like drinking youth. So this actually helps promote healthy ovarian function and egg quality too, which is what happens when when you do have those cysts on your ovaries. It actually hurts the egg quality, and that is why you are not able to get pregnant as easy. So it supports hormone health, and it just has a lot of really great things. So it's dye-free, gluten-free. It's also vegan. And so this is a version of it, but it's called, I don't know how to pronounce this. I actually looked this up, how to pronounce Ovasitol, because I think I was saying Ovasitol, but it's Ovasitol. And this one is Inositol. Inositol. And that is what I noticed that a lot of people were talking about, like having that, but this actually has a 40-to-1 inositol blend, which I guess is supposed to be really, really good. Again, doing more research on that, but it is just trying to wrap my brain around it all. It also has so that's the chiroinositol, and that's 50 milligrams. And then the myoinositol, which is what you need, is 2,000 milligrams per scoop. So there's 180 servings, okay? So this is a 90-day supply, but the 90-day supply is, so it was $75. So for $25 a month for me to have some sort of balance is like incredible. So I'm still taking my metformin with this. I see my doctor in, yes, Kate, yes. I was just talking a little bit about my journey and everything that's been going on. But I've been about 8 days on this, and I gotta tell you, this has helped my mood. It has helped my, I don't know, just my energy level. Hey, Britt, love you. Oh my gosh. Thank you for being on, you guys. So it's been, yes. Catch the replay for sure. Cause I did just do like a little bit of a recap of everything, but I have to tell you that if you do not know that you have it, you have to be the advocate for yourself. You have to literally ask the questions, and it's hard. It's like, well, what questions do I ask, right? Oh, thank you, Britt. Thank you. Yes, so much healing. So much healing is happening, and so many wonderful things, especially this year. And that's why I've really committed to every day making an effort for my future children and my family, and somebody who struggles with PCOS, like being a better advocate for a while there. I even have a PCOS group that I've kind of let go. And I think when you're going through your own struggles, I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, I tend to pull back in, right? I talked about sharing when I first started this. Like, sometimes sharing for me is not always like naturally comes my way, or if I do and then it like bites me, then I'm like, well, lesson learned, I'm pulling back even more, right? And so it has been a bit of a journey for me to talk about it a little bit more. And like I said when I first started, is that I only hope that if I can help anyone going through it. And I think I'm in a better place than I was when I had first started my group, even though I'm still trying to get it under control. Yes, Britt. And I think that's it, is like, and if people don't even know how like to ask. So I say that if you are doing that and you are going down that route to see if it's something that you do have, please like inbox me, because I can tell you the things that you need to say, or who you need to go to for that. So I do have a doctor's appointment in March. I'm hoping that there's a cancellation before then. I'm trying a new doctor, and I'm hoping from there, with this and kind of balancing my levels out a little bit, my hormone levels, that we can kind of come to a better understanding about where we're going to take, like what route we're going to take next. So I've had people reach out to me saying, I don't know if you've tried this or tried that. And it turns out, really, if I can be very honest with you guys, is that because I put that halt on this about 5 or 6 years ago, I've actually, think about it, I've really worked inwardly, which I said I really need to do like a lot of healing, like mentally and physically on myself. And it's like I'm ready now more than ever, and I know I'm a little bit older, and that is going to be a little more difficult, but I really do appreciate the journey, and that God had me on a certain plan for it. And I truly believe that, even though it took me, I was like a little bit later in getting there. There was a lot of stuff that I had to heal from a child in my 20s and then in my early 30s. So healing through all of that really caused me to be able to take the action steps in order to get there. Prior there, I was being given the action steps, but I couldn't focus in, I couldn't completely give it over because I had too much going on up in here and in here. And so the second I started giving over to that, and I stopped letting that like control me all the time, I am able to live more freely. And so the excitement is real. Britt just said, when you're ready, and that's it. Like I thought I was ready 5 years ago. Yeah, and that's it. I really do believe this will resonate with people in a different way, whatever you're going through, whatever the struggle is, that, you have to take it one step at a time, and you have to be an advocate for yourself. You have to take the action steps. So my difference was, I did those action steps, and now God this year told me, okay, like now is the time, now is the season for change. You've nurtured, you've watered, everything's planted and it's good to go. But now what are we going to nurture it? What are we going to, not only, I should picture it like this, right? It's nurtured. The stuff has started to grow there, but now there's things that need to happen in order for it to grow more. Whether it needs to be repotted, replanted, right? Resoiled, maybe some medicine on it that's going to help with the little bit of the disease that's on the leaf, right? The plant, whatever, right? If we're getting into that, right? Yes, Britt. And so it's such a cool season. It's such a neat thing I'm just holding this, like this is this was put in my life for a reason. I believe that, but, and I've only been on it 8 days. It's insane, but we'll see what happens with it. But anyone I'm talking to, I'm also giving, because you can take this, like it says, while you're pregnant, but again, consulting with a doctor, but just in general, anyone who's struggling with that insulin level. And that's the other thing, is you don't realize when you are struggling with insulin, and to have some of that like news of where my body's going if I continue the route or continue what I'm doing, right? And the insulin level can really throw off your mood and can throw off your energy level. And so getting that kind of under control a little bit for myself, and I've been doing better at taking my metformin at a certain time of day. Just doing that has really shifted things a bit for me too. So I'm going to share that part of my story. I have more to talk about. I have more to talk about what's to come. And so I'm hoping to do maybe at least a weekly recap or a weekly update. This helps keep me accountable. It helps me keep sharing with all of you. And then also, if you are on that road, I would love to talk with you, because we're not alone, right? You're not alone. I'm not alone. And together we can kind of get through this. And so I just encourage you that if you're struggling tonight with that, or you've been on that long road as well, or maybe you're thinking that that's you. Maybe you're sitting there like, I don't know, maybe that's my thing. I have a lot of those symptoms. Like, what the heck is going on? reach out to me and I can kind of point you in the direction. I can't say that I'm gonna like help diagnose you, but I can point you in the direction of help, because it's a hard one. It's a hard one to get through. So with that being said, thank you so much for listening to my story and sending me all the love. I can I'm going to promise you that anything you send me, anything that you, information you give to me along the way, I will take it all in, and I will make sure to make you guys proud and make myself proud and make God certainly proud for putting you in my life and giving me all that great information that I will not let it go. I won't let it go. So please make sure you take care of yourself. Take care of someone else. Have a beautiful night. Thank you for joining me on part of my story, and I will continue to keep sharing. Much love, everyone. Good night.